If you've made it this far, thank you for listening to Madeline's story. Her journey is far from over. I'd love to know, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below so we can see how far her story reaches. And if this story touched you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. A powerful new chapter will be released tomorrow. And trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. Until then, take care of your heart. Because sometimes the ones we love the most are the ones we let go. She loved a man with her fiancé's heart until she discovered the truth behind his death. The first time Madeline Brooks met Julian Hayes, it wasn't love. It was recognition. Not of his face, but of something quieter, deeper. His eyes held a sadness she knew too well. His heartbeat, steady yet hollow, echoed one she once fell asleep beside. Madeline was 27 then, teaching art at a small charter school just outside Savannah. She wasn't looking for love. She was still learning how to breathe again after losing Ryan Carter, her fiancé, her first and only. Ryan had died 3 years earlier in a tragic car crash. His body was gone, but his heart had found another home, in Julian. Of course, she didn't know that at first. Not when he showed up to her student art show and quietly purchased every canvas with a red streak in it. Not when he started showing up on Sunday mornings just to sit near the park bench where she used to sketch with Ryan. But over time, the pieces came together, like the ones she used to paint in grief. Julian was charming, intelligent, successful, the CEO of Hayes Medical Group in San Francisco. He traveled often, spoke little of his past, and carried a kind of weight in his presence, like a man who'd lived 2 lives in one. When he asked Madeline to join him for dinner, she said yes. Not because she was ready, but because something in him felt familiar. He liked his coffee black, just like Ryan. He leaned back when he laughed, same tilt of the head, same quiet smirk. She told herself it was coincidence. She told herself she was projecting. But deep down she knew, this wasn't chance. This was fate, twisted and unkind. Months later, Julian finally told her the truth. He had received a heart transplant 3 years ago, from a man in Georgia, a registered donor who died in a highway collision. Ryan. Madeline couldn't breathe when she heard it. She stood in silence as the world tilted. The man she loved had died, only for his heart to live on in the man standing in front of her. She should have walked away, but she didn't. Instead, she stayed. Maybe it was grief. Maybe it was madness. Or maybe, just maybe, it was her only way to keep a part of Ryan alive. Julian never knew. Not at first. To him, Madeline was a quiet warmth in his otherwise cold world. He didn't ask questions. She didn't give answers. They existed in a fragile in-between. Him, seeking comfort. Her, chasing echoes. But love, built on ghosts, never rests easy. Every time he touched her, she felt the past. Every time he smiled, she searched for Ryan. She was falling. Not for Julian, but for the heart that beat inside him. And though he didn't say it, Julian felt it, too. Somewhere deep down, he knew. The woman beside him wasn't really his. She was just holding on to what she lost. Madeline should have left when the truth came out. When she realized Julian wasn't hers. He was Ryan's echo in a stranger's body. But instead, she stayed. Not because she loved Julian, but because she didn't know how to let go. Weeks turned into months. They became a couple, at least in public. Behind closed doors, there were moments. Soft ones, quiet ones, but never whole. She'd lie awake some nights, watching the rise and fall of his chest, wondering if it was Ryan's heart beating or hers breaking. Then came the test. Madeline hadn't been feeling well. Nausea, fatigue, a dizzy spell that nearly knocked her over at work. She chalked it up to stress or grief. Until the doctor said the words that made the world stop spinning. "You're 2 months pregnant." Julian didn't say anything at first. He just stood there, hands shoved into his pockets, jaw tight. "I didn't plan this," she whispered, more to herself than him. Still nothing. No congratulations. No touch. Just silence. Later that night, he poured himself a glass of bourbon and finally spoke. "Celeste is sick." Madeline blinked. "What?" He didn't look at her. "Kidney failure. She's on the list, but the wait could kill her. Celeste Monroe. The woman before her. The one he had never quite let go of. The one Ryan's heart might have been beating for all along. "I'm sorry," Madeline said cautiously. "But what does that have to do with me?" Then came the second blow. "I had you tested. You're a match." She couldn't breathe. "You want me to donate a kidney while I'm pregnant?" Julian's eyes finally met hers. Cold, clinical, detached. "If you terminate the pregnancy, the transplant can happen right after. Celeste doesn't have time." There it was. No apology, no hesitation. Just a business transaction dressed in personal tragedy. "You're asking me to kill our baby," she said, her voice cracking, "to save the woman you still love? I'm asking you to do the right thing." "No," she snapped. "You're asking me to disappear. To sacrifice everything again, like I'm not even real." Julian didn't respond. He didn't need to. The message was clear. Celeste came first. Always had. Always would. That night, Madeline packed a bag. She didn't run, at least not yet. But she sat on the porch, hand resting on her stomach, tears cutting down her cheeks like rain on glass. Inside her, a tiny heartbeat. Outside, a man with a borrowed heart who never truly saw her. She should have known. She was never meant to be the ending. She was just another chapter in someone else's story. But this time, Madeline wasn't going to disappear quietly. Not for Julian. Not for Celeste. And not for a heart that never truly belonged to her. Madeline didn't sleep that night. The weight of everything pressed down on her. Her illness, her unborn child, the man inside her house who wasn't grieving, wasn't torn, just calculating. Julian Hayes had built an empire saving lives, but when it came to hers, he didn't flinch at the thought of ending it. The next morning, she made a call. Not to a doctor, not to Julian. She called Leo. Leo Brooks was her older brother. Tough, ex-military, now a private investigator in Atlanta. He didn't ask why she suddenly needed him. He just got in the car and drove. When he walked into her small cottage 12 hours later, the first thing he said was, "You look pale as hell." The second? "Tell me everything." She did. Every detail, from the heart transplant to the pregnancy to Julian's chilling request. Leo didn't speak for a long time. He just stared out the window, jaw clenched, eyes burning. Finally, he said, "You're not giving up that baby, and we're going to find out who Celeste Monroe really is." And they did. What started as a background check turned into something far darker. Celeste Monroe wasn't just a model. She was a manipulator, a climber, a woman with a history of vanishing ex-boyfriends and sealed court records. But the worst was yet to come. The night Ryan died, Leo tracked down police reports, dashcam footage, and accident scene photos. He spent 2 days making calls, flipping favors, and chasing names. Then he found it, security footage from a nearby gas station, time-stamped just minutes before the crash. A black Range Rover speeding through a yellow light. The same car Celeste had been photographed exiting earlier that evening. Leo pulled Madeline aside. "You need to see this," he said, holding up the screen. Her knees buckled as she watched the blurred footage, watched her fiancé's killer drive past without slowing down. She didn't even stop, she whispered. She didn't just kill him, Mads, Leo said, voice low, steady. She left him there, like he was nothing. Madeline couldn't breathe. Not because of the cancer, not because of the pregnancy, because the woman Julian wanted her to die for had murdered the man she loved. And he didn't know. Or worse, he did. Suddenly, everything snapped into place. The transplant, the emotional distance, the obsession with Celeste, the coldness when Madeline told him she was pregnant. She was never part of his plan. She was just a vessel, a bridge between the woman he lost and the one he wanted to keep. But now, she had the truth. She stood on the edge of something sharp: anger, grief, betrayal. But she wasn't falling. She was ready to cut back. Julian wanted to use her to save Celeste's life. Madeline was going to use the truth to destroy them both. She might have been dying, but she'd go out fighting. And this time, she wouldn't be quiet. The night of the gala arrived like a storm. Quiet at first, then deafening. Julian Hayes was hosting a black tie fundraiser at the Fairmont Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. It was meant to be a celebration. A night of champagne, headlines, and smiling photos with Celeste Monroe at his side. Rumors of their engagement had already hit the press. All that was left was confirmation. He had no idea what was coming. Madeline Brooks stepped out of the black car alone. Pale, elegant, composed. A sleek midnight blue dress hugged her frail frame. Her hair was pulled back, lips painted blood red. She was dying. And for the first time in months, she looked alive. By her side was Leo, dressed in a black suit, silent, as ever. They walked through the gold-trimmed doors like they belonged there. Inside, music floated above the buzz of LA's elite. Flashbulbs popped. Celebrities mingled with surgeons. And at the center of it all, Julian and Celeste, glowing under chandeliers. When Madeline stepped into the spotlight, the room shifted. Whispers rose like a wave. Eyes turned. Julian froze. She didn't flinch. Didn't expect to see me? She asked, voice calm, slicing through the silence like glass. Or were you hoping I wouldn't make it this far? Celeste's fake smile cracked. Julian moved toward Madeline, arms half raised like he could fix this. Mads, this isn't the place. She pulled a flash drive from her purse and held it up. No, Julian. This is exactly the place. She handed it to the event host, who, sensing the tension and the cameras, plugged it into the big screen. The room darkened. A video played. Security footage, time-stamped, the black SUV, Celeste behind the wheel, Ryan's name on the police report, witness interviews. Leo's narration laid it out with lethal clarity. Then came the silence. No music, no chatter, just disbelief. Shock, betrayal. Julian looked at Celeste. Her face had gone ghost white. Is it true? He asked. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Madeline stepped forward, her voice low, raw. That's the woman you wanted me to die for. The woman you asked me to sacrifice my baby for. She killed Ryan, and you didn't even care enough to check. Julian reached for her. I didn't know. Mads, I swear to God, I didn't. She stepped back. You don't get to say my name anymore. The press flooded the floor. People began to whisper, then shout. Celeste disappeared into the crowd. Julian just stood there, unraveling under the weight of it all. Madeline turned to leave. Her body ached, her vision blurred. But her heart? It burned with clarity. Leo caught up to her at the door. Are you okay? She exhaled slowly. No, but I will be. That night, she didn't sleep, but for the first time in years, she wasn't haunted by what she lost. She was empowered by what she'd taken back. Her truth, her voice, and her choice to walk away, not as a victim, but as the storm. It had been 3 weeks since the gala. Celeste, Monroe disappeared from public view. Julian Hayes resigned from Hayes Medical Group, and Madeline Brooks quietly slipped away from Los Angeles. She returned to Savannah, Georgia, where the streets were slower and the air didn't carry the weight of betrayal. Her childhood home was still there, dusty, creaky, untouched. Leo had it cleaned before she arrived. He even stocked the fridge with her favorite peach preserves, like she could still eat without throwing up. She couldn't. The cancer had spread. Her oncologist gave her less than a month, maybe weeks, maybe days. But Madeline wasn't counting time anymore. She had something else in mind. One late afternoon, she asked Leo to take her out to the river trail, the one along the Chattahoochee where she and Ryan used to ride bikes. The sky was orange, the air thick with southern warmth. Leo parked the truck, lifted her gently into the wheelchair, and said nothing. He didn't need to. She knew. They sat near the old bike racks, where her story with Ryan had first begun. 2 people fighting over identical bicycles, laughing by accident. It was where he'd first kissed her, where they planned their life, where she once thought love was simple and pure and permanent. "Do you ever wonder," she said quietly, "if we only get one real love?" Leo didn't answer. He just rested a hand on her shoulder. "I thought I could forget him," she continued. "Replace him. Heal by pretending. But the truth is, Ryan never left me. Not really. He was there in every silence, every lie, every heartbeat I chased in someone else." Tears slipped down her cheeks. "I'm just tired of chasing." Leo's voice cracked. "You're not done yet, Mads. You still have time." "No, Leo, I don't." A breeze picked up, gentle but sure, like the world knew it was time. "I need to say goodbye." She handed Leo an envelope, her will, her letters, everything she couldn't leave unsaid. Then she asked for one last thing. "Leave me here, just for a while. I want to be alone with him." Leo hesitated, then nodded. "I'll be close." When he walked away, Madeline closed her eyes. The wind brushed through the trees. Birds sang like they did that summer. And for a moment, she swore she heard his voice. "Maddie." She smiled, weakly, fully. "I'm ready, Rye." Later that night, under a sky painted with stars, Leo returned to find her still, peaceful, hands folded across her lap. She was gone, but not in sorrow, not in fear. She left on her own terms, in the place where love was real and pain had no voice. Julian Hayes would never hear from her again. But in that quiet corner of Georgia, along a sun-drenched trail by the water, a girl who once carried too much heartbreak finally laid it down, and in doing so, she became whole. Thank you for staying with us until the very end of Madeline's journey. Her story wasn't just about heartbreak. It was about strength, truth, and choosing yourself, even when the world refuses to. Now, I want to hear from you. What part of her story hit you the hardest? Was it the betrayal? The quiet strength in her final choice? Or the way love never truly dies, even when the person does? Leave a comment below and tell us what you felt, whether it's a line that stuck with you or a memory her journey reminded you of. And if you've ever faced something similar, loss, betrayal, or choosing between what's right and what's easy, your words might help someone else feel less alone. Tonight, also let us know where you're watching from. It's incredible how stories like Madeline's can connect hearts across the world. If this touched you in any way, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. A brand new story will drop tomorrow, one that might speak directly to your soul. Until then, take care of your heart. And remember, some endings are not the end. They're just the beginning of your truth.